Thank you, Dr. Song. John Donne, an English author in 17th century, in one of his devotions in 1624 said that no man is an island. It meant that no one could self-reliant. The same thing is happening with my life at IAS. There are a number of people surround me who pray, support, guide, and help me for the completion of my study. First of all, I eternally thank God for what He has done for me. There were many miracles happen to my family during our stay in IAS. I got strength in God's promise. I always remember the text that Isaiah wrote, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I also profoundly grateful to God when He sent IAS under the leadership of Dr. Stephen Guptill to give full sponsorship during my dissertation writing. Without his support, it is hard to complete my study. Special thanks I address to Dr. Ricardo Gonzalez, Seminary Dean, who always gave encouragement during this research, and as committee member, his insight was helpful to strengthen my work. My special appreciation is to Dr. Song, Chair, Department of Historical Theological Department. Since his support and understanding, I can do both teaching and writing at the same time. My sincere gratitude goes to Dr. Michael Campbell. He is more than an advisor. He did not just guide and give direction to my research, but also facilitated me to go to Ellen G. White Estate, CAR, Center of Adventist Research at Andrews University, Library of Congress, and Washington, and Aurora University in the US. He also introduced me to international scholar conferences to have global mindset of writing. I'm grateful to have such wonderful committee members. I indebted to Dr. Alberto Tim, who enriches my dissertation through his experience and knowledge. I also thank to Dr. Rembel Tumnalehonan and Dr. Whedon as my internal and external examiner, respectively, for their insights. I would also like to express my special appreciation to Dr. and Mrs. Whedon and Drs. Hiskia and Ellen Misa, since their generosity and hospitality during my research in US. I thank also to Dr. Merlin Bird, Director of CAR, Tim Poirier, Vice Director of Ellen G. White Estate, and Dr. Susan L. Palmer, Curator of James Collection in Aurora University, respectively, because their support to use the institution facilities during my research. I thank Alan Campuesto, IAS editor, for her hard work in the editing process. Then to Megumi Flores and her friendly team in library. I thank you for assisting during the process of these dissertations writing. My fondest gratitude and appreciation goes to my wife, Maria Nordiana, for her patience, support and love during my study in IAS. Together with my two children, Nicholas and Keisha, they still supported me, even though they experienced how to be without husband and father, since I spent many days in the library. I thank God because having all of you in my life. To my parents and parents-in-law, siblings especially, Polaris Regar family. My brother-in-law and my sister, relative and authentic friends, thank you for your support. I reserve my thankfulness to Indonesian community who are in IAS and SSD, including Wiyum community and Maisa community. Thank you for all your encouragement, support, and prayer. Now, my topic or my dissertation title is the doctrine of the state of the dead and its relationship to the century doctrine in the Seventh-day Adventist theology, 1844 to 1874, a historical and theological study. Seventh-day Adventist scholars are divided about the origin of the state of the dead. Some believe that conditionalism among Sabbatarian Adventists came from the Christian connection, since Joseph Bates and James White were the member of this group. Others suggest that George Storrs, ex-Millerite preacher, had a seminal influence to Sabbatarian Adventist understanding about the state of the dead. There is no extensive study about the origin of the state of the dead and how it became one among several pillar doctrines in the Seventh-day Adventist theology. The three co-founders, Joseph Bates, James White, and Alan White of the Seventh-day Church, believe that doctrine of sanctuary is central to their system of doctrine. It connects to all the present truth. In this understanding, there is a lack of study to see the relationship between the doctrine of the state of the dead and the sanctuary doctrine. The only reason exists for this relationship was done by Dr. Alberto Tim 22 years ago. It is therefore striking that so little exists on the connection between the state of the dead and the sanctuary doctrine. Careful work is therefore needed to fill this lacuna. The statement of the problem of this dissertation is, it's about survey of early SDA lecturatures on the state of the dead indicates that much more attention is needed to examine the main contributor of this doctrine. It includes how this concept developed in the denomination theology, since its acceptance to become one of the core belief of the church, specifically with regard to its relationship to the sanctuary doctrine. The lack of study for such an important belief reveals a glaring lacuna. And the findings. First, there are 8 findings, and I will share with you. First one, George Storrs was the major contributor to Sabbatarian Adventist understanding of the state of the dead. Although the Christian connection did play an indirect, albeit still minor role, the collection of 6 sermons by George Storrs, along with his article in the Bible Examiner, introduced most Sabbatarian Adventists with the concept of conditionalism when they were in Millerite movement. The Christian connection played a background role, since it was through this group they provided an open enough space for discussion about conditionalism and for George Storrs to disseminate his view while he still joined to this group. The second one, since 1844, Sabbatarian Adventist pioneers were convinced that the dead know nothing. Although they believed that this was a truth, the importance of this doctrine was not as significant as other present truth doctrines. During 1851 to 53, Sabbatarian Adventists put the doctrine into practice and connect it with other teachings, even if it was not equated yet to other pillar doctrines. There was increasing influence of this doctrine as related to overall SDA theology from 1844 to 1874. From 1844 to 1850, the belief was seen as having little influence. Then from 51 to 53, Sabbatarian Adventists equated it as an important truth with great importance, but still not as present truth or a leading doctrine. However, after 1854, it clearly became present truth and one of the leading SDA doctrines. From 1863 to 1874, after the organization of the General Conference, the denomination continued to define its understanding as opposed to other Advent denominations, including the Evangelical Adventist, Advent Christian, Life and Advent Union, and Age to Come Adventist. SDAs needed to distinguish themselves from other Adventist groups. A significant acknowledgement of the importance of this belief can be seen in Uriah Smith's 1872 Fundamental Principles. By this time, SDAs clearly had embraced the doctrine of the state of the dead as an essential part in this denomination theology. Now,